As a kid, much like you, I was told information that would either benefit me or harm me. For instance, when I was growing up, every Saturday morning I would go to Papa and Granny's and Papa would fix pancakes for us. It was just one of those traditions that I loved. And I would try to go into the kitchen and help him, and several times he would let me in there. I remember this one time that as I was real young, he was fixing pancakes and flipping them in the pan, and I reached up to try to touch the pan. And he said, "Matt, that's hot, don't touch that." At that moment, he had given me information or a knowledge that something could harm me. But like any young person who has a rebellious streak in them, I had to find out for myself. So I still reached my hand into that pan and quickly pulled it back because it burned the tips of my fingers. At that moment, I did not just experience a knowledge, but I now had the wisdom to never do that again. Wisdom can be learned by bad experiences, but we don't want to go chasing experiences just to gain wisdom. We want to have wisdom to choose between right and wrong without those bad experiences most often. The book of Job is a book that fits in writings, in the genre of writings that are known as wisdom books in the Old Testament. And one of the reasons is because Job is not just a message of experience, of trials, but it is a message of wisdom. Your reading today in Job, chapter 27 and 28 reveals the search for wisdom. Listen to these words. Job says in chapter 28, verse 12, "But where shall wisdom be found? And where is the place of understanding?" Job asked that question in his response to Eliphaz and Zophar and Bildad. He says, where can wisdom be found? All of this information you're giving me, is it true wisdom? He has previously described the glory and the splendor, the sovereignty of God over all creation. And this is a good point in the middle of Job, where Job just cries out, if you want wisdom, it's not just about information that you're able to memorize and spew out when you feel like it, but it is about a relationship. Remember, as we've walked through the book of Job, we've seen that his friends had a lot of information, but what they lacked was spiritual intimacy. And our temptation sometimes is to read the Bible, read through it, or to talk about the Bible as if we've gained information for a test at the end of our life, or to make us sound smart as we debate one another. And we get in all of the weeds of what does this word mean, or what does this passage mean. And many times when our hearts are not in right relationship with God, we are headed down a path of destruction, full of knowledge, but lacking the application of that. Job asks, where's the source of wisdom? Where can we find it? It's not just in the information from a textbook, but listen to what Job says. The very end of chapter 28, he describes the source. He says, God understands the way of wisdom. He knows where this place is. For he looks to the ends of the earth, and he sees under the whole heaven to make the weight for the winds, and he weighs the water by measure. When he made a decree for the rain and a way for the lightning of thunder, then he saw it and he declared it. He prepared it and searched it out. God knows it all. And listen to what Job says. And unto man he said, behold, the fear of the Lord is wisdom, and to depart from evil is understanding. What Job reminds us is wisdom is not just knowledge. It's not just information that the pan is hot. Wisdom is fear of the Lord and to depart from evil. For his three friends that have come to accuse him of unrighteous living, for his friends that could eloquently display information about God, their hearts were far from God. They were not intimate with God. And God would indict them at the close of the book for speaking against him. But for Job understood, Job knew that this wisdom only comes from a fear of the Lord. It comes from this understanding that I should depart from evil. And so my hope for you today as you read Job 27, Job 28, that our request would be, where is wisdom found? But our understanding would be, it is found in a right relationship with the Lord, the fear of the Lord. If you were to ask me what is the number one problem with our society today, we don't fear God. That's why sin reigns in our hearts. That's why Adam and Eve, they had the information, but they lacked the intimacy because of the sin, the sinfulness of their heart, their desire to be God in their own eyes. But when we truly fear God, when we realize that we should have an awe, a reverence, a holy trembling before Him, that we realize that God, in His love for mankind, true wisdom would be found in His Son, Jesus Christ. And so He sent His Son to die for us, to be buried, to rise again, and by rising again, provide life for us eternally. That is wisdom. That is fearing God. And that is the beautiful hope of the gospel of Jesus Christ. May we walk in fearing God, fearing the Lord. May we walk in wisdom. I love you. I'm praying for you. Stakes in the ground.